Midnight comes calling.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Vinyl Lounge Montreal. For those who don't know, my name is Olivier. I am based here in beautiful Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And I am here today because I posted a short earlier. If you didn't see it, I decided to show some of the albums that I have in my collection from the 80s decade. From 1980 to 1989. The 80s decade, I could have done the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, do every decade, but the 80s was the most influential decade in music for myself because I was a teenager in that year and a young adult. So that's where music influenced me the most. So I'm going to start. I won't drag you on this. I'm going to start with my first album. So here's a short story. I was born in Quebec City, and until the age of 8, I lived there. My parents had a beautiful setup, dual 5150, I'm not sure, beautiful turntable and all that. They had it all in the attic, and they would do their parties there. And I'm that kid that would be sitting in the beanbag and falling asleep there, looking at my parents partying and spinning and dancing and drinking and puffing all night long, which is great. It's fine. And, it gets into your head, the vibe. And I remember those nights. And then at the age of 8, I moved to Toronto, Ontario, which is an Anglophone because, by the way, I am French Canadian. My second language is English. So if I'm making a few errors, you must excuse me for that. So we moved to Toronto. My father worked for the government and he had a contract there, a 4-year contract. So we moved to Toronto. And then we moved on. I remember exactly the address, 260 Dawlish Avenue in Lawrence Park. And I swear to God, the first week we moved in, my brother and I, we were very young. I was 8, he was 4, blah, blah, blah. We go down the basement. The furniture is already there. It's set up. It's a furnished house. We're ready to go. Knock, knock on the door. 2 kids are at the door with their mother. The front door neighbors, 2 Anglophones. My mom, hi, how are you? My mom barely speaks English, blah, blah, blah. The kids want to come in. My mom says, they're downstairs. They send them downstairs, and that's where it all started. I can tell you, it was Bryce and Blaine Tigert. I remember it like it was yesterday. They were our best friends for 4 years, and sometimes our little enemies. You know how kids are, bang, bang, blah, blah, blah. So they were sent down there, and we had no choice to learn and communicate. So after a few months, I was understanding English, and after a few extra months, I was speaking the English. And where I'm going with this is that when I first went to their house, I saw that they had a turntable. My father did not bring his turntable in Toronto, but the Tigers had a turntable. And it's 1980, and this is pretty much where I got and held and listened to my first real rock and roll album. That my friend's father had his turntable. He had just bought this album right here, Billy Joel, Glass Houses. And I spun it. It was its anniversary not long ago. And I spun it and mentioned it. But till this day, the memory of this album being the first that I actually listened from A to Z, it's incredible. And listen, the songs that you may be right, sometimes a fantasy. And the one song that I really, really liked was It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. And till this day, like I said, I have 2 or 3 copies of this. This one is a very nice copy. And I'm very proud to have this. And I will always be reliving this moment. So that's one of my 1980s. Let's move on. 1980, Stevie Wonder, Hotter Than July. What a great album. So this, did I hear you say you love me? Amazing. Do you like you? Cash in Your Face. And then there's the Happy Birthday song that I actually use once in a while when I have a friend that is celebrating a birthday. So Stevie Wonder, Hotter Than July. By the way, you probably noticed I'm wearing my Hulkamania shirt. Yes, the most popular wrestler in the 80s. And in actually 1980, I think in August, he was fighting local wrestler from Montreal, Andre the Giant And I can't tell you who won, but I remember looking that up at one point. So Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, August 1980. Little colors, 80s. Let's go. Okay, moving on. So these are albums. Obviously, there's albums I don't have from the 80s, like Motorhead, Ace of Spades, and, Talking Heads. There's a lot of them that I don't have in my collection yet that I want to get that I did not listen to in 1980, but came back to me later on in my teen years. This is one of them, actually. London Calling, The Clash. What an amazing album. So this one here, 1979, came out, not in the States. The Clash, London Calling, came out in United States of America in 1980. And this is why I'm including this one in the 1980s album. And it is so good. Listen, London Calling, Brand New Cadillac, Rudy Can't Fail. You got Death and Glory, Lovers Rock, The Right Profile. So, hey, come on. This is absolutely incredible. You got to have that in your collection. Moving on to a band that my parents brought me into at a very early age, obviously. It was the Rolling Stones. So this is Emotional Rescue with amazing songs such as Indian Girl, Send It To Me, Emotional Rescue, that we all know. She's So Cold, Where the Boys Go, Rolling Stones, Emotional Rescue, 1980. This I only got last summer. But damn, is it good, and one of my favorite bands, obviously. It is Van Halen, Women and Children First. I know that Anthony Gambler also got this not too long ago. It's absolutely incredible. And The Cradle Will Rock, Romeo Delight, I'm a Simple Rhyme, Loss of Control. So this is also an album you need to add in your Van Halen collection. That's from 1980. Pat Benatar, Crimes of Passion. I was a huge Pat Benatar fan. I have most of her albums here. I have 5 or 6. I don't know how many she has, but I really, really, really loved Pat Benatar. This was a great album right here. Sticking with the 80s, Rod Stewart, Foolish Behavior. Look at this stud. I love this look. I love this hair. Still do today. He's still touring with songs like Foolish Behavior, Passion. Passion was one of my favorite. Look at this guy. I absolutely love him. Rod Stewart, Foolish Behavior. Moving on with another one of my favorite bands from the 80s, and a few of their albums will come in this 80s series. This is Zenyatta Mondata with The Police. A bit of a reggae punk. You know how they are. I love their style. So Don't Stand So Close to Me. Driven to Tears. Canary in a Coal Mine. I mean, man, there's so... Da, da, da. I mean, I'm not pronouncing it right. This is an amazing album from 1980. Whoa! And now we're hitting strong with AC/DC Back in Black. One of my favorite albums of all times. I mean, Back in Black, Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill, What Do You Do for Money, Honey, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, and it goes on, Shake a Leg, come on. You need this. And believe it or not, I got this not long ago. You know why? Because I don't buy on Amazon. I try to wait for an original pressing, and this is On Atlantic original Canadian pressing right there. So I'm happy to have that. AC/DC, great album from 1980, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on with one of my favorite, maybe my favorite from Bruce Springsteen, The River. If you do not have this album right here, I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Double album with so many great songs. Cadillac Ranch, you got Point Blank on there. You got The Ties That Bind. What else do you have? Independence Day. The River. I absolutely love that song. So The River, Bruce Springsteen, which is a must in the collection. So that was 10. I'm not going to show you more. I have more. I could have showed you Roxy Music right there. I'm going to show you one more because it reminds me of my mom. One bonus album from 1980 from my mom. It is Double Fantasy. Yoko and John right here. And there's a lot of great songs on this. And one of them is Starting Over. So, hey, Mom, this one's for you. So that was my collection of albums. 1980 albums right here, all in front of you. So, hey, if you want, I don't know, this is not a thread, this is not a challenge. Should I make it a thread? If you want to do the same thing, 80 to 89, you show 5 to 10 albums that you have in your collection. Your favorites, some that influenced you or not, but I invite you to do it. And if you don't, well, that was 1980 in Olivier's life. Like I said, there's a lot of others that are missing in my collection. That's some that I have. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. And 1981 will be next. And like I said, I'm doing the whole decade. So let's have fun. Peace.